CloudDB, shaping your new normal.
Hope you guys can hear me. Thank you very much for joining this session. For next 40 to 45 minutes, I'm going to cover about Oracle Enterprise Command Center dashboards. About me, this is Venkanna Mittakanti from Houston, Texas. I'm an Oracle ace. I have over 23 years of experience working with Oracle EBS and Oracle technologies, focusing on implementing, designing, developing, and maintaining of Oracle EBS applications. I have been specializing in supply chain modules, implementations, and solutions. I worked at Oracle Corporation from 2000 to 2006 for the Oracle EBS product development in various roles as a senior application developer, lead application developer, and manager. Currently, I am the lead Oracle application analyst for SCM modules at Siemens. I'm actively engaged with the Oracle applications and technology user group and holding a couple of board positions as well. I'm the board member of Texas Louisiana Oracle Applications and Technology Regional User Group and board member of OATG's Emerging Technologies and Procurement Special Interest Groups. I write the ERP blog I write the blog as well. My blog URL is www.vm-oracle.com. Primarily, I focus on writing articles about Oracle EBS Release 12.2 new functionality, some fundamentals or basics about ERP cloud, and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, robotic process automation, blockchain, etc. But in the future, I would like to focus more on the ERP cloud, writing articles about the ERP cloud. So that's about me. So let me turn off the video so we can have the better, quality. So, okay, I'm done. So agenda for the session. So we will, we will take a look overview of the enterprise command centers and key features and how the ECC integration and security works with Oracle EBS. We will take a look procurement command center dashboards, order management command center dashboard, then available ECC dashboard across Oracle e-business suite. So what are the benefits or advantages of using Oracle ECC? And if time permits, we'll take a look into Enterprise Command Center Framework Architecture and how to extend the ECC dashboard. So I will not get into the technical details in today's session, but I will focus on procurement and order management command center dashboards from the user perspective, from the business perspective. So if the time permits, we'll take a look, ECC technical architecture and then how to extend the ECC dashboards. And so for any of the Oracle EBS implementation, we develop a lot of custom reports using different technologies like Oracle Reports, XML Publisher, Discoverer. Some cases we use third-party tools like Noetics, Bledge, or Orbit. We implemented Oracle EBS for one of the Siemens division, Dresser and business division. We almost developed like a 50 to 60 reports for the purchasing area. We almost developed similar number of reports in the order management, manufacturing, and finance. Maybe have more reports. And Oracle provides these seeded reports, but none of these reports are usable to the business, as we all know. So So these are all the custom reports developing like 50 to 60 reports in 50 procurement area, another 50 reports in manufacturing, another 50 to 60 in order management and finance in another, you know. So these are all the custom reports. So there is a cost associated with the custom report development, and it takes time to develop the report. Secondly, business runs multiple custom reports to accelerate day-to-day activities and improve process efficiencies. But the challenge is that business has to spend quite a bit of time to run these reports from different tools like a Discoverer, concurrent program, or third-party tools. And then the second thing they do is they will export the data into Excel, and some cases they will merge the Excel files to get the data what they are looking for. So it is a time consuming process. So Oracle came up with a new product called Oracle Enterprise Command Centers with Oracle EBS release 12.2. So what they're trying to address here is to, they're trying to address, solving the problems of what users should work on next. So without any custom operational reporting, if the user comes to the business, where should he focus? Where should he, what task he should focus on? So you should be able to see what are the tasks, important tasks, low priority, critical, high priority, tasks or activities you should perform on day-to-day operations. Enterprise command centers are fully integrated with the Oracle E-Business Suite to enable enterprises to optimize operational decisions, improve process efficiencies with real-time access to operational data, driving better cost and revenue decisions. ECC dashboards enable information-driven navigation to focus on the right information at the right time to make the right decision. With information-driven navigation, users can browse and drill on key indicators, charts and graphs, and leverage consumer-like search filters to quickly identify, then act on their most important transactions. So every time you drill on the key indicators, the data is recalculated, the graphs or charts are redrawn. It is like a conversation with the data. So you ask the question, you will get the answer. So you apply, you can drill onto some key indicator or to apply, to apply some extra additional criteria, selection criteria, then the data is filtered to narrow to most important of the priorities or the important of the transactions. So once it is narrowed down into the important priorities, then you can act on those transactions. So the dashboards are action driven. So it provides the information discovery, visualization, and exploration capabilities embedded with Oracle EBS user interface. So ECC comes with an out of the box page which will help users to get started very quickly without any training or minimal training. So the dashboards are self-explanatory. So enterprise command centers are delivered with Oracle EBS release 12.2.4 and higher versions only. So the good thing about this product is that we don't need any extra licensing. As long as you are an Oracle EBS release 12.2 customer, then you are free to implement Oracle ECC product. So the prerequisite is your Oracle EBS version is 12.2.4 or higher. We cannot implement with Oracle EBS release 12.1.3. So Oracle released so far 32 enterprise command center comprising more than 119 dashboards with the latest release of Oracle EBS release 12.2.11. That is the ECC version is 7. So Oracle is releasing, for EBS, every year they're, releasing one release. Like last year they released EBS 12.2.10. This year they released EBS release 12.2.11. But ECC every month they are, releasing the new releases. So March we had the VCC V6. Now we have the VCC V7. It has the multilingual support. So what does it mean? If the users logs in from Canada or US, they can see the dashboards in the English language. If the user logs in from Germany or Japan or China, they can see the dashboards in their local language. And on top of that, ECC dashboards are extensible. It means that we can change the existing dashboard or we can create a new dashboard. So this is the sample dashboard. So just to highlight you, users navigate the transactional information using interactive visual components and guided interactive visual components, then the guided discovery that allow the exploratory data analysis. So the ability to drill down to detailed insights into the data allow the dashboards to be action driven. So key features, it is all about information discovery and it has advanced search capabilities. ECC, it has embedded analytics. It has a coverage almost in all the financial area, supply chain and HR. It supports various user roles. It has a seamless UI integration. It means that you can navigate from the EBS UI forms or HTML pages to the dashboard, and from the dashboard, from the dashboards to the forms or the HTML pages and back. It is secured by the EBS security policies, and as I mentioned earlier, the dashboards are extensible. Some additional key features. We can save the search criteria similar to the folders. You can create your own search criteria, save it, and you can share that search criteria also with the other users. Then you can export the data, the results table data into Excel or PDF, and it can pop up within the dashboards. It has a descriptive flexible support. Record details, you can navigate from the results page to the record details. You can perform the bulk actions, like either you can update or cancel, and it has a tight integration with the forms. Online data load is, I think I will cover this one about the data load process. And it has an integration with the Apex. Improved results table pagination, scrolling in available requirement tables. So how the ECC integration and security works? It integrates with the Oracle EBS UI. ECC pages are within the EBS menu navigation. Now, if you access the procurement responsibility, from there we can navigate to the procurement dashboard. So it is part of the standard responsibility menu. The dashboards are. And secondly, we can drill down from the dashboards to the transactional pages like OA framework pages or forms to take an action, like either create a new transaction or update an existing transaction, or to perform some additional actions. It honors the EBS security policies like functional security. It means that if I am the procurement user, if I logs into my procurement, uh, if I logs into the Oracle e-business application, I have only access to my procurement related dashboards. Similarly, it has a data security at the record level. It means it is a multi-org access control. If I'm the user from the US, then I can see only US operational data. If there is a user from Europe, he can see the data from the, only he can see the Europe data. So ECC dashboards embedded in Oracle applications. Oracle products, the way it is implemented is roles and Oracle products have created the Oracle user management roles and permission sets to provide access to the enterprise command center pages and regions through role-based access control. First, what they do is we create the permission sets, right? Roles and first we create the permission set, then we uh, permission sets are assigned to the role, then the role is assigned to the responsibility. That is the way the UMX security works. Then on top of that, you have the data security that is based on the multi-org access control. Let us take a look at the procurement command center. The aim from the procurement command center is to optimize procurement operations, build a relationship with suppliers, and also improve content management. The procurement command center is a great tool for the buyers and procurement managers, right? So basically, we are trying to optimize the procurement operations, building the relationship with the suppliers, and the content management. So we will take we'll take a look at the procurement command center has the multiple dashboards. It has the requisitions, purchase orders, agreements, sourcing, indirect procurement, supplier analysis, and item analysis. In this session, we will take a look requisition dashboard, purchase orders, and orders agreements dashboard. So when you look into any of the dashboard, the dashboard is divided into multiple regions, right? One is this is called the matrix region or summarization page, summarization or key indicators. Then second region is the graphs and charts here. And this is the results table. This is the actual transactions. From here we can navigate to the details. And this on the left hand side, you can see that this is the requirement search criteria. It means that you can apply the search filter, search criteria at the header level or the line level, depending on the transaction. You can apply the search criteria at the different levels. And this is called the global search. This is like a global. It's like a similar to the Google search. It is like a blind search. So when you're applying the requirement search criteria, you're putting the condition like the field equal to the actual value, like the requisition status is equal to approved, or need by date is greater than or equal to sys date plus 10. So those are you're applying the conditions at the item level. But in the global search criteria, you just search by blindly. So if I search by my name, then it will bring the requisitions which if any of the field contains my name, then it will bring those requisitions here. So the requisition dashboard, the main objective of the requisitions dashboard is to ensure that all the requisitions are fulfilled in a timely manner. So primarily it helps the buyer and category manager. So the various tasks the requisition, we can perform from the requisition dashboard are, you can manage the work queue by acting on the requisitions based on the priority. Check if the requisition line can be fulfilled using an existing catalog. Find the best supplier fit for the requisition. Manage workload by assigning or reassigning the requisitions within the team. Review potential supplier spend history and supplier performance quality and delivery time. Then check if an agreement exists with this supplier. So if you look into the requisition dashboard, the key indicators are in pool and right, there are the in pool and in pool, unassigned requisitions, urgent requisitions, and requisitions to process. In pool means these are all the open requisition lines. So the requisitions are created and approved, but they are not yet converted to purchase order. So the buyer hasn't placed a purchase orders for any of these requisition lines. Unassigned requisitions means these are all the open requisition lines. They are not yet created the purchase orders, but they don't, these lines do not have the buyer information. If the buyer information is missing, it is not, these lines are not going to show any of the buyer's queue. because the buyers, everyone, they look into the requisition lines which are assigned to them, the particular buyer, right? So that's the reason we need, the manager has to look into these requisition lines, and he has to reassign these requisition lines to, he has to distribute these requisition lines to his team, within his team. Then these are the two urgent requisitions. It means that these are also, these are requisitions are created and these are open and marked as urgent. It means that buyer has to act on these requisition lines as soon as possible, because there is an urgent requirement to buy these parts or services. So the buyer has to, these are the critical task for the buyer when it comes to the work. And the requisitions to process, it means that these are the requisition lines have the need by date falls into next 30 days, right? So this is also is priority for the buyer. So let us take a look into the one of the key indicator. We'll drill down into the urgent requisitions. So the moment you click on the urgent requisitions, what happened is the graphs are redrawn, and it will show the relevant graphs and charts, and it will bring up the transactional data also related to this particular key indicator, right? So there are two urgent requisitions. Then it says that as per the graph, it says that one of the requisition has a need by date in the last 90 days. The other one falls into next 15 days. And both have the delivery location as the New York City. So when you drill on any of the key, browse on any of the key indicator, automatically the search filters are applied, and it will show those transactions related to those two urgent requisitions here, right? This is the requisitions, lines, and distributions. And we can look into the lines information. What are the products we need to buy, products or services, because these are marked as urgent. So next step, what we will do is, to convert the requisition to the purchase order, we need to find out who is the right supplier to source these products or services. So in the dashboard, we have an option to analyze the supplier or analyze the item. The moment you click on analyze the supplier, it will navigate to the different page. It will try to find out all the suppliers. It will provide the list of suppliers who can supply this particular product or service. And on top of that, it will provide some matrix about the suppliers, how their supplier, their quality rating, and then price trends, and how is their delivery times, etc. And it will provide list of suppliers who can supply this particular product. And from in the bottom of the page, we can see that if you have any open POs with these suppliers. And similarly, we can see if you have already an agreement is already, if any agreement is already established with that particular supplier. So based on your, performance, based on your supplier performance indicators, you can choose the right supplier to source that particular product and then add it to the document builder. So here we are creating the purchase order for this particular requisition line item without navigating to auto create screen or buyer's workbench. So in the previous step, you did the analysis, and who is the right, you figured out who is the right, so figured out the supplier, who is the right supplier to source that particular product. Then you add it to the document builder. So the moment you access the document builder on the top right hand corner, from there we can navigate it to the document builder. You can see that it automatically brings up the requisition line item information, if is there any agreements with this particular supplier. So here we can we have an option of creating either request for quote or purchase order for that particular requisition line item. Then when you navigate to the next page here, then you will see that this is the purchase order creation screen. It will show the header level fields, line level, shipment, and distribution. We can review all the fields, any of the required fields, the buyer can enter it, like the payment term, ship via FOB, freight terms, and the line level, the need by date and all. And then you can submit for the approval. Once the user, the buyer submits for submits for approval, then the PO will go through the regular PO approval process. So here we create, from the requisition dashboard, we looked into the urgent requisitions. Then the buyer converted one of the requisition line item also into purchase order without navigating to the auto create screen or purchase order screen or the buyer's workbench. Everything he did from the dashboard. So similar to the urgent requisitions, we can drill down in pool requisitions, unassigned requisitions. It means this we need to reassign or assign within your team, and then the requisitions to process. This one is the requisition lines have the need by date in next 15 days. So that's about the requisition dashboard. So let us take a look into the purchase orders dashboard. So the purchase order, the primary objective of the orders dashboard is to take a corrective action on exceptions before they affect the business task. And primarily the orders dashboard is useful for the buyers and purchasing managers. So the various tasks they can perform from the orders dashboard are work with the suppliers to get shipments and deliverables on time, manage work queue by prioritizing orders based on the status, pending change request, review time spent on each different life cycle of the orders, take actions to reduce it, and monitor performance of suppliers, including on-time delivery, quality, and price compliance trends. So if you look into the key indicators in the orders dashboard, there are 5 key indicators. What is orders to watch and overdue shipments, shipments due, overdue deliverables, and invoices on hold. So orders to watch means these are the POs, purchase orders. They are in incomplete status or requires reapproval or in process or change request is pending. If the supplier makes changes to the PO through the iSupplier portal, it will go through the change request process, right? It goes to the buyer acceptance process. So that is that will also show up here. And overdue shipments means so open shipments that have the need by date in the past. So these are we are requested to deliver, you know, 15 days back or 30 days back, but those shipments are not yet delivered. So they are already late on those deliveries. So we need to follow up with the supplier as well as the, in the manufacturing or the sales teams, do we really need those parts? Because we requested them like 15 days back or almost a month back to be delivered, but they are not delivered. And shipments due, it means that these are the open shipments that have the need by date in the next 15 days. So this one we have to follow up with the supplier to make sure that they are delivered on time. And this is the overdue deliverables. This is the overdue shipments is based on the need by date, and overdue deliverables is based on the promise date. That is the PO acknowledgement date. But these are not, no, the supplier acknowledge that they will deliver in so and so date. That is already the past date, but they haven't delivered it. So open deliveries with the due date in the past. The other one is the invoice on hold. So if you created the, if the finance, invoice, once the PO is created, once the PO is received, or maybe, depending on your matching rule, you create the invoices, but right now those invoices have the holds. So it will show the invoices with the payment on hold. So we need to follow up with the finance department why there is a hold on those invoices. Otherwise, we might be making it delay on the payments to the supplier. So let us look into the one of the key indicator orders to watch. As I mentioned earlier, it will show the in process, incomplete, or requires reapproval, or change request is pending. Then once you click on the browse on the key indicator, automatically it will bring up the purchase order graphs, and it says that one is 4, but it will show the relevant purchase orders, and then from the headers or the lines we can navigate into the, you know, you can navigate into the details page, and you can submit for approval, or, you know, or if the buyer has to accept the change, then you can accept the process the change and submit for approval. Similar to the orders to watch, you know, the buyer can look into the overdue shipments. So here they were supposed to deliver in the past, but they aren't delivered. So, you know, we have to work with the planner and the sales team, suppliers to adjust the need by date, since these parts are not yet delivered. Some cases we might not need those shipments at all. You know, we don't need any more. So we can do the cancellation also. We can do the bulk cancellation also without navigating to the PO form. We can do it at the dashboard itself. You can select the shipments and cancel it. And you know, some cases you might need to adjust the need by date, right? So you know, then you can get into the, you can navigate into the detail of the particular purchase order. It will open in the self-service application. Then you can use an update option and update the need by date with the new need by date. Similar to the, you know, similar to the overdue shipments, we can, you know, we can follow up the, we can review the overdue deliverables and invoices on hold. This is, we need to follow up with the invoicing department. So that's about the orders dashboard. Let us take a look quickly about the agreements dashboard. So the agreements dashboard is the main objective is to maintain agreements and best prices for the organization. Primarily the agreement dashboard is meant for the buyer. So the various tasks the buyer can perform from the agreements dashboard. He can negotiate the agreements which are overutilized, act on extending expiring agreements with the potential negotiation of prices, review agreements with low utilization in an effort to reduce off-contract spend. So the key indicators are only two here: agreements to watch and expiring agreement. Agreements to watch means these are reaching their maximum approval limits. So when you set up the blanket agreement, you set up with a minimum approval limit and maximum approval limit. And secondly, you'll have the dates also, what, you know, how long that blanket agreement is valid. So the second one, it shows if the agreements are expired or about to expire. So those will show list down in this particular key indicator. So let us take a look into, we can apply manually also condition. If you are looking into the approved blanket orders, we can do that way. But let us take a look into the expiring agreements. It means they are about to expire or already expired. It reached their end date. So when you drill on the expiring agreements, then it will show in the details page all the agreements are here, the blanket agreement numbers. We can navigate into this detail page, and you can change the effective, and you can work with the supplier and extend this agreement. Right. So then you'll submit once you update the effective date, then submit for the approval. This will go through the regular PO approval process. So that's about the agreement dashboards. So we covered a couple of dashboards in the procurement command center, but let us take a look into the order management command center, how it is useful for the salespeople. So why order management command center is a great tool, especially for the customer sales rep or the sales analyst. See, the object is to ensure that the orders are fulfilled in a timely manner. That is the main objective. So, you know, we can accelerate the order flow, quickly act on order exceptions, and you know, the primary goals, you know, primary things, uh, primary objective is to meet the revenue goals, proactively remove the fulfillment obstacle, and at the end is to increase the customer satisfaction. The ultimate goal is to increase the customer satisfaction. So let us take a look into the orders dashboard. So the orders dashboard has the 4 key indicators. One is the draft. The second one is with alerts and late and open orders. With the draft means the here we are just, I'm showing the orders dashboard by the different charts here. One is orders. The second one shows by the customer and is showing that the customer having the with exceptions, without exceptions. That's but let us take a look into the draft. Draft means the sales order is entered status. You created the order, still it is an enter status. The order is not yet booked. If the order is entered status, doesn't mean it means that we haven't started actual process. Until you book the order, you cannot run the any of the, whether you have to manufacture this particular part or you have to source it from third-party supplier. So that process won't start. So the immediate action is to book the order as soon as possible and send the order acknowledgement to the customer. So when you click on the key indicated draft, it will show the, how many orders are there with the order, uh, the entered status, based on the different, the graphs are shown with the different dates here, when order was created, when when they wanted, the customer want this order to be, delivered, and it will show the detailed order numbers here. So you can navigate into the details of these orders. You can edit or update here, and then you can go to the next page, and you can, you can perform an action. You can book the order here, right? You can make any of the, if you want to make any additional changes to the order, make an additional changes, and go ahead and book the order here. Similar to, the second means second is key indicators alerts. It means the order has some exceptions. It means exceptions are the holds. So if the order is has any exceptions or hold, means we are not progressing the order. We need to remove that hold. Otherwise, there is no, the order is not getting progressed. And let us take a look into one of the details of the one of the order here. And if you look into this one, it will show, we can see that this order has a hold, it has a credit check hold. So we need to remove the credit check hold so that order can be progressed to the next level, next step. Similarly, late, which means customer requested this particular, parts or the products to be delivered so and so date, but we are already, but we didn't deliver on time. We are already running late. So this needs to be, we have to take a look very closely. These are the some of the important, task for the, say, customer service rep. Then he has to follow up with the procurement or the planners to why we are running late, or our shipment department. Then, some cases we need to work with the different teams and set new, set new expectations with the customer, right? Similarly, open order means it will show that the orders all which they are show all the orders which are not yet shipped. These are the open orders. So for certain, certain months or quarter revenue, we can always we can take a look at the open orders and progress to get the more revenue in the particular month or quarter. So that's about the order dashboard. So Oracle, as I mentioned earlier, Oracle has released almost 32 command centers and more than 119 dashboard. See, like procurement command center is a one command center, but within that it has a multiple dashboard like orders dashboard, requisitions dashboard, agreement, supplier analysis, item analysis. Those are all the 6 or 7 dashboard, but one command center. So similarly, Oracle has released the command centers or dashboard across almost all the modules in Oracle EBS, in financials, procurement, order management, manufacturing, and human resources. So what are the benefits of the ECC? The ECC dashboards, we can identify and act on the top priorities without any custom operational reporting. And we can access the dashboard from mobile or desktop devices, right? That is virtually providing access virtually anytime and anywhere. And we can rapidly deploy enterprise command centers with no changes to the Oracle e-business suite database. the dashboards are not sitting in the database. It is its own, it has its own middleware technology. And enterprise command centers are tightly integrated with the Oracle EBS Suite UI and security system, so the users remain within the Oracle e-business session as they navigate from the command center dashboard to transactional page or and back. And as I mentioned earlier, is easier to users can quickly adopt the dashboards since those are the dashboards are self-explanatory, and secondly, the dashboards can be customized through configuration to meet some business requirement without any coding. The delivered enterprise command and some command center dashboards are extensible, allowing enterprises to add their own key indicators, charts, and make cosmetic changes to suit their unique business requirement. And most importantly, enterprise command centers are available at no additional cost to users. Among the many benefits of the Oracle ECC that it saves IT spend on development and maintenance of the custom operational report. With enterprise command centers, users have a better, more productive user experience, while the IT team has a reduced demand for custom operational reports. So I will quickly run through the architecture and data load process. So ECC Framework is a middleware technology made up of an interactive JavaScript frontend and Java backend engine. It has three main components. One is the interactive user interface. This is where the client, user interface layer where the dashboards are seen. This is the service layer. It provides the services that allow the user to define a data set, ingest data into it, and control advanced behaviors using metadata. And this is the core component of the ECC framework. So the way it works is, let me go to the next slide. So we have the Oracle EBS database. This is the application tier, and this is the ECC. So either you can install the ECC on the existing ECC middle tier, or you can have a separate box depending on your application size. The only prerequisite is ECC has to be installed on the separate on the Linux server. If your application server is not Linux box, then you have to have a separate box for ECC. So what it does is, once we install the ECC, it takes the data from the Oracle EBS database and it indigests into the ECC core component, right? So that's data is ingested from the source system to the ECC core engine. So whenever you run when you run the dashboards, the data is not coming from the EBS database. It is fetching the data from the ECC core engine. It is a metadata. So in the deployment structure in the ECC, it has its own WebLogic server. As I mentioned earlier, we can install the ECC only EBS release 12.2.4 and higher versions only. And the data load process. So, ECC comes with the two responsibilities, ECC admin and ECC developer. ECC admin, is basically it can run the data load process. And the ECC developer is to create the data set, not create, but modify the existing data set or create a data set also, or modifying the dashboards. You cannot create the new data set, but you can modify the existing data set. I will cover about that. There is what is in scope, what is out of scope. But ECC admin, what is he can do is he can run the data load processes. Initially, they came up with a one concurrent program, ECC run data load process, and you have to pass the application name as a parameter and load type as the three parameters. One is the full load, incremental load, and metadata load. Full load means the first time when you implement ECC, you run the complete refresh. And incremental load is for the that is the you run incremental load for in pre-created intervals to pick up the most recent data. And metadata is for the customer customer EBS specific data, like key flex field, descriptive flex fields. Those are implemented differently for the different EBS implementations. So initially Oracle came up with the one process to run the data load process, but later they came up with the product specific concurrent programs, and we can run from the product specific responsibilities like the PP, PO, PCC, ECC data load, or ECC supplier analysis data load, OM command center data load. There are different different programs are defined for each of the dashboards. And depending on how frequently you want the data to be refreshed, if you want just you would like to see you would like to run the incremental load daily once, or if the business depending on your business requirement, you might have to run twice a day. So what is the scope and what is out of scope? So extending an existing dashboard, if you want to make any changes to the existing dashboard, that is in scope. What is creating a new dashboard also, it is in scope, we can do that. Extending an existing data set, if you want to make any changes to the existing data set, you can do that. But what is the out of scope is we cannot create entirely new data set. If you have any custom application in EBS, Oracle EBS, if you want to create a new data set, you cannot do that. It has to come from Oracle, the creation a new data set. And similarly, like we have the procurement command center. Similarly, if you want to have the new command center for your custom application, that you cannot do that. We have, only we can create the new dashboards, but you cannot create a new command center. You can make any changes to the existing data set, but you cannot create a new data set. Existing data set, if you want to reference the custom tables, you can reference, but you cannot create a completely brand new data set. And other limitation is that the whole dashboard data source is from the data source is Oracle EBS. If you have any legacy system data, if you want to use the legacy system data, or if you want to reference any of the Excel files, you cannot use for the you cannot use that. So, and there are two more points I would like to address. There are certain limitations extending the ECC dashboards. Sometimes customers are struggling with the customization. I feel that Oracle didn't provide good documentation on this one. So my advice is for you to show out of the box ECC dashboards to the business. If the business sees a value using the product without any customization, then go for it. Anyway, low licensing cost is involved. And secondly, don't commit for any of the customizations. Show the out of the box command center. Let the business decide if they see value, then go and implement it. So looks like we are running a little bit out of time. So what I will do is I'm going to skip the technical how to extend an ECC dashboard. This is the ECC developer responsibility. You can take a look into this one. What is the underlying page for the particular dashboard. And then secondly, we can look into the data sets also, and how the data set data get refreshed. Internally, it runs the PLC packages and security rules. And then if you look into the details, it will show that what are the columns are available from the data set. If you want to add a new column, you have to make a changes to, if you want to change any of the logic to reference some custom tables or some additional columns, we have to make a changes to this particular PLC packages. And here you can say that which are the columns are visible, columns should be visible from the dashboards. And once you make changes in the development or test environment, the way you migrate the dashboard changes, either or you export the application, then import in the target instance. And then there are three nodes, Oracle Metalink, Oracle support nodes. These are very important. The first node is for the Oracle DBS, how to install Enterprise Command Center. The second one is the in general, it explains about the what is Enterprise Command Center, how the what are the various user roles and permission set, how does it support the multi-language. It gives overview of the Enterprise Command Center framework. And third one is to specifically meant for how to extend an ECC dashboards. This is almost like a 120 pages document. This is very important to modify an existing data dashboard or create a new dashboard. So with my experience, I see a lot of value leveraging ECC dashboards to accelerate your day-to-day operations, optimize operational decisions, and improve the process efficiencies rather than investing in custom report development or implementing any third-party tool. So with this note, I will close the session. If you have any questions, you can post, I believe you can post it in the somewhere in the Groundbreak Virtual Tour website, or you can send an email directly to me. Okay, I can reply. That's all that's all. And thank you very much for the joining the session. And thank you very much for the joining the session, and have a good day.
CloudDB, shaping your new normal.